let's talk about some great teams in baseball. Let's go ahead and jump right into our power rankings. All right. Couple of big series after the All-Star break with the Yankees and the Astros. Dodgers were playing the Giants. Just some really good baseball, and there's going to be a lot of great baseball to be coming up. So what we've kind of noticed in the last couple of weeks, there's not only been 5 teams really, in our opinion, that probably I'm going to say 6 teams. There's really kind of a 6-team window of people, but it seems to be there's 3 teams that are starting to kind of stand out in front of those other even 6, and it's going to be noticeable in our power ranking. So I'm going to let you lead off and see who you have as number 1.
The first games after the All-Star game were between the Yankees and Houston. The Yankees, top of the American League, top of baseball, and Houston right behind them. And Houston decided to take the doubleheader 2-0. So my number 1 is Houston.
Yeah, I mean,
the Astros have proven they can beat the Yankees.
It's true. Yeah, and you kind of spoke at that. You were saying how, a couple of weeks ago, Astros was in there, and I was like, what? How are you going to go against the Yankees? Yada, yada. Yankees, they do have some injuries. Yankees have, some not only in their rotation, their bullpen, their starting lineup, and it's something that we kind of spoke about. Hey, the pitching has to hold up the hitting, but more importantly, can these guys stay healthy? They have some tremendous athletes, but they also have some tremendous athletes with a history of injuries, and you're starting to see that. And Houston is just getting hot. Not only is it like 120 degrees probably in Houston right now, but they're playing at about 120 Celsius. See what I did there?
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty hot in Fahrenheit. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here as Houston is number 1. I mean, at the time of the recording, they are 64-33. There are a couple of games in the win column behind the Yankees, just beat them, and they are the hotter team. I mean, like I said, at the time of the recording, they're 7-3 in their last 10. The Yankees are 5-5. And they're starting to put some runs up. I mean, the run differential for Houston is up to 107, the third best in baseball. And they're 30-14 at home, 34-19 on the way or on the road, and 28-16 against teams over 500. They bring it against the better teams, and they have some guys that haven't won a World Series in just a little bit, and they're hungry, and they're, in my opinion, a trade away from repeating as champions. So. Houston, we agree at number 1. I have a feeling we're going to agree at number 2, but I'm going to make you say it. Who's the second best team in baseball in your opinion?
You can't take it away. They're good. We'll get into an injury or two from them, like you were saying, but I mean, until someone other than Houston in the American League proves that they can beat the Yankees consistently, Yankees are going to be 1 or 2.
Really good at home, pretty good away, and as long as they are, the top team in the American League, they're going to have to run through New York to beat them. They got the Subway Series that is happening middle of the week here, again, depending on when we're recording, but they are in a series right now. So that's, in my opinion, that's going to be a really good series. One of the best teams in the National League and one of the best teams in the American League. Potential World Series matchup, maybe. Hey, we're seeing that there. Obviously, I think the Mets are going to be a different team towards the end of the year as well as the Yankees.
Don't we though?
I mean, one of us thinks that the Mets potentially are going to Mets, and the other one thinks the Mets maybe get better. But we're not talking about the Mets. We're talking about the Yankees as our number 2. We know all the stats. They have a lot of stats. They got a guy crushing the ball, a couple guys, and they got a guy with a great mustache in Carpenter. So
and one telling thing. Now, granted, they are in the East, so everyone they play is at 500 or above. But one of the tells is above 500 teams, they are 45-26. That's 10 more wins than both Toronto and Tampa Bay have against teams over 500.
Yeah.
And that is easily the most. Boston has 31 wins against teams over 500. Now, granted, you're playing teams with, they're playing in the East, so they're going to face a lot. The next highest in the National League for wins with teams over 500 are a team we're going to talk about here very shortly. They have 27. And another one has 29.
Yeah. The Yankees,
Yankees are doing it when it counts.
The Yankees have played 27 more games against teams over 500 than Houston. They've played 71 games. I did the math.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 71 of the 97 games they've played have been against teams over 500.
Right.
That's a lot. So
they're proving it.
Yeah.
They're proving their worth.
Yeah, and I mean that could potentially, if they get healthy, that's going to pay off when they are only going to play teams over 500 in the playoffs. So all right, let's go to number 3.
One of those teams I was just talking about. They are 27-17 against teams above 500. Not quite 45 wins, but the LA Dodgers. 64 wins, 31 losses, 8-2 in their last 10. They have just been putting on a show the last couple of weeks. They had a little stumble. What was it, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
They're fine.
They've recovered. So they've played 44 games against teams over 500. The Yankees have 45 wins against teams over 500. Just to put that in perspective. I mean, maybe that's because the American League is a little bit stronger this year.
Yep.
And if the All-Star game actually meant something, then maybe, that would have showed maybe why, but it doesn't. And that's what we're talking about. But yeah, I agree with you in the top three to round out the top three. The Dodgers are my number 3 as well. They're hard to go against. They've pretty much been 9-1 in their last 10 for the last 3 weeks, playing good baseball, getting healthier. And they're another team, kind of like I mentioned with the Astros. And I think all of these top 6, top 10 teams, they're all a really big trade away. Maybe they get a Soto, maybe they get, a Contreras, maybe they get, the missing piece to the puzzle that, catapults them into, another championship in the Dodgers. They're contenders every year, and they're really good at baseball. So they get a little bit more healthy. They're going to be just fine. And what's crazy too is we talked about a couple of weeks ago how the Padres and the Giants were right there, and they've opened up an 11.5 game
was quick,
very quickly.
That was quick. San Diego was only like two down, 1 down, 3.
It was close.
Then all of a sudden the Dodgers look behind them like, oh, screw this, let's go win.
Yep, let's go. But all right, let's keep it in potentially the National League. Maybe we'll talk about the American League. But who do you have as number 4?
Atlanta. I got Atlanta. They've been playing really well. They've lost their last 2, but they're still 6-4 in their last 10. They're 58-40. And I think Atlanta's going to do something at the trade deadline. I'd be amazed if they didn't. But they have caught the Mets. Yeah, they're 2 games back, but they have caught the Mets.
Yep. And you haven't heard a lot of talk of the Braves going and doing anything. A lot of talks of the Mets, a lot of talks. So even the Cards and everything like that. But my number 4 is going to be the Mets.
Okay.
They're leading the division. They're still, everybody's like, they're holding on. They're still playing great baseball. All right. The Braves are 22-22 against teams over 500, where the Mets are 29-24. And the Mets are a little bit better at home than away, but they've also played 50 of their games on the road. So there's going to be a lot more home games. And like I said, I'm interested to see how the Yankee series goes. And I can't wait to see one of the best, if not the best pitchers in baseball, DeGrom, come back. And again, I'm not a Mets fan, but they're linked to a couple of big names that I think if they get these big names, they get DeGrom back, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
So
if DeGrom comes back.
If he does, when he does, we'll have to see. All right. But all right. So that's my 4. And I have a feeling I know who your 5 is. Go ahead.
Toronto.
What a fan pick or whatever. Anyways, all right.
I get it. The Mets are good. The Mets are good, but the Braves have only lost 13 since the beginning of June. Braves are going to topple them. Mets are going to Mets. Toronto, however, is going to Toronto. I don't really know what that means, but in my head, it means they're going to play a really good baseball for the second half, which they've done the last couple of years. 53-43. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 6 in a row. Did we mention that drubbing they just put on Boston? Oh yeah, we did. So I think Toronto, with being in the division, they're healthy right now. Barrios is starting to pitch like he should. Gossman is healthy. Manoah is a beast. Ross Stripling has been amazing. I think Toronto does something at the trade deadline to require a top-end reliever and maybe a fifth starter, but I don't think they mess with the offense or the defense that much. I don't think they need to. But Toronto is my number 5.
All right. Well, this isn't a debate show, and I'm going to keep it moving because we got a lot of stuff to get over with in a little bit of time. I went with the Braves, defending World Series champions, over a team that is not even. Anyways,
didn't even make the playoffs. I get it.
Okay. Yep. That's my 5. And no, that was good. That was good. And you're lucky it's not a baseball debating show because it'd be interesting. Maybe that'll be a segment that we'll do. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on all the social medias if you want us to debate over a topic. We'll definitely do it.